Latoya, it seems you've been visiting your parents' home frequently? The new year just passed, and you weren't present for it here. You also missed out on Christmas and Thanksgiving here. Do you intend to ever visit us? Since your marriage, you've not once paid a visit. It feels as though you don't acknowledge being part of our family, my son's wife.
Good day, Barbara. I believe I've mentioned this before. But I only intend to visit for major family events, along with my husband. There haven't been such occasions on your side lately. Besides, I haven't found the opportunity for a casual visit.
What do you mean by that? You have plenty of time on your hands. With Paul working overseas. It appears you're the one choosing not to visit, isn't it? As the wife of my eldest, it's your responsibility to assist me.
Your constant nagging is what upset Paul in the first place. You assign me duties for being the wife of your eldest son. As if I am a servant to your household. That's the precise reason why I avoid coming there. Has that slipped your mind?
I've never nagged you. I'm merely guiding you to behave as a wife should, particularly as you're married to my eldest. You need to understand this.
All right, let's hear it. Enlighten me about how a real wife should behave.
I'm surprised you need me to explain this. However, if you insist, here are the norms, again. 1. The wife of the eldest son must always respect her mother-in-law. 2. The wife of the eldest son should show deep devotion to her in-laws. 3. The wife of the eldest son should give up her career and embrace being a homemaker. 4. The wife of the eldest son must bear a son to carry on the family lineage. 5. The wife of the eldest son should invite her in-laws to live with her to serve them better. 6. The wife of the eldest son should undertake all household chores after moving in with her husband. 7. The wife of the eldest son must prioritize her in-laws over her own family. For now, let this suffice.
Those 7 norms. They're impossible for me to fulfill.
What?
I'm known for speaking my mind. Regardless of you being my mother-in-law, I'll be frank about my opinions. And if I believe you're wrong, I'll call you out on it. Paul assured me from the beginning that we wouldn't live with you. Even in your old age. Your husband agreed to this arrangement too.
He made that decision without consulting me. The eldest son's wife, particularly her, should be responsible for our care till the end. I'll have to talk to your father-in-law about this.
Also, marriage doesn't imply that I quit my job. Nor will I sever ties with my family. My family will always be my priority. Your views are one-sided and I can't accept them. I'll continue my work and visit my family when I wish to.
Excuse me?
About your obsession with us having a son. I understand you want a male heir. But I have no control over the sex of my child. It could be a boy on the first try or the 10th. No one can predict. You can't impose such conditions on someone. Thus, your insistence on me bearing a son is utterly unrealistic.
Latoya. What has come over you? If you believe you can argue just for the sake of it, you're mistaken.
If you think I'm arguing for the sake of it, let me clarify. Your demands are preposterous. They're unfair and illogical. I cannot abide by them.
What are you saying?
Your irrational expectations and pressure are driving me away.
What do you mean? These are not pressures, they're basic etiquette that should have been instilled in you. You seem to lack this understanding, hence, I'm trying to correct it. You either fail to recognize or choose to ignore my goodwill. The problem lies with you.
Goodwill?
Yes. You're failing to meet my expectations. The fault is yours.
Oh, so it's about your expectations?
Yes, exactly. I've been endeavoring to instill in you the ideal behaviors. But it seems to fall on deaf ears. It triggers both sorrow and frustration in me. Consider my viewpoint for a moment, will you? In traditional norms, a woman is in charge of the home. So expedite the process of leaving your job and start overseeing domestic responsibilities. I'm attempting to mold you into an excellent wife.
Not all families function the way you perceive. Paul and I govern our household according to our values and priorities.
Are you still not grasping the concept?
Your assumption that you can reshape me into your vision of an ideal daughter-in-law is not just intrusive, but it's overstepping boundaries. Your endeavor to alter my values and convictions is more than just guiding my actions.
Pay attention. You willingly chose to become a part of our family. Therefore, adopting our beliefs should come naturally, especially the ones upheld by the elders. That's me.
Seriously? Then, allow me to enlighten you about the realities of life.
What? Are you going to challenge me again?
First, about my profession. I established my business before I met Paul, and I run it. I met Paul, and I remain its leader.
Really? You're in charge?
Hence, advising me to leave my job equates to suggesting I shut down the entire business. Have you considered the consequences of that? The ripple effects of such an action are too vast to explain. But it would unquestionably render many competent individuals jobless and disrupt numerous families.
You're the proprietor of that establishment? This is news to me.
No, it isn't. The first time we met, we discussed my profession and enterprise. But you dismissed it, saying a woman shouldn't harbor such delusions. Quit and manage my son's household instead. You laughed it off as though I was jesting about my status. Despite my repeated attempts to explain, you'd just reply, "Stop dreaming, dear, and heed my advice." Then you'd incessantly dictate the duties of a daughter-in-law. Our conversations were always dominated by this.
I was merely outlining your responsibilities as a member of our family.
But Paul was utterly astounded and disconcerted by your biased view of an ideal daughter-in-law. He advised me not to stress over pleasing you.
Did he really say that?
In fact, he gave me permission to block your messages if they became too much. He anticipated that you'd attempt to manipulate me while he was working abroad for an extended period. Thankfully, I can easily contact him if needed. I digress. So, are you still insisting that I abandon my career?
I'm uncertain. It indeed wouldn't be favorable if it led to problems for your employees and their families, but
Now do you comprehend?
however, you do understand. A woman's place is managing the home, correct?
But I won't be shutting down my business.
Ah, a solution just occurred to me. A method that allows the business to continue and enables you to be a housewife.
Let's hear it.
Hand over the company to Paul. He can take on the leadership role.
What? What are you implying? Paul and I specialize in entirely different sectors.
No worries, no worries. Paul is intelligent, he can effortlessly accomplish what you've done. Yes, this will work perfectly. You have 2 months to make this happen. So, within 2 months, the business should be transferred to Paul's ownership and he can manage it. And you step down. Then, you both can relocate and live with us. Agreed.
That's a simplistic view.
It'll be fine. Trust me. I've repeated it numerous times, Paul is an intelligent young man. If you're capable of it, he'll quickly adapt.
Do you understand the implications of your current proposition?
Absolutely, I do. Well, since it's all settled, reach out to Paul immediately, and we'll arrange for his return.
Paul? He's right here with me.
What?
He's about to send you a message. He wishes to have a word with you. I would suggest you heed his words.
Paul, when did you return to the States?
Just yesterday.
That's surprising. You ought to let me know about such plans in advance.
Some sudden matters required my attention. I've some work at the headquarters here which prompted my return. However, I'm leaving again in 2 days, but will permanently relocate here from next month.
Good. You should hand in your 2 weeks' notice tomorrow then.
Excuse me?
If you go through the conversation between Latoya and me, you'll understand. You'll be stepping into Latoya's shoes at her company in 2 months. It would be better if you resigned from your current job soon.
Mom, are you trying to make Latoya a stay-at-home wife? Do you have any understanding of what a job signifies?
What do you mean?
I'm associated with an international company currently, the job I've always dreamed of. Are you aware of that? You want me to leave it all behind, just like that? What's the matter with you?
Paul, think about it. You'd be the boss. Your salary would witness a massive increment. It would benefit not just your father and me in our old age, but also you.
Dad and I have had a discussion. He has some plans in place for his old age. He doesn't want to depend on me.
I'll convince him otherwise. Don't worry about that.
Don't attempt to persuade him. I support his decision.
Really?
Moreover, I'm not comfortable with you imposing your thoughts on Latoya. I can't stand by that any longer. Now, in your quest to turn Latoya into a housewife, you want her to resign and me to replace her? This is preposterous. You're crossing a line.
But
There are no buts. Are you even aware of the kind of company Latoya manages?
no. I only recently discovered that she's a boss.
It's not about your recent discovery, but your persistent disregard for our words. Latoya's company comprises experts, including herself. Most employees there hold advanced degrees in their fields.
Experts?
Entry into her company requires years of study and training. You expect me to master such expertise in just 2 months? That's ludicrous.
What exactly is the nature of her company then?
If I divulged any details, I'm sure you'd cause unnecessary chaos there. So, I won't share it.
But
Latoya and I are passionate about our jobs. We enjoy what we do, and our mutual respect for each other's work keeps our marriage strong. I won't let your self-centeredness jeopardize that.
self-centeredness?
Yes, self-centeredness. No matter how you see it. Latoya is currently removing your contact from our lists.
Wait a minute.
The only reason you haven't been blocked already is because of Latoya's kindness. From now on, she won't attend any family gatherings from your side.
What do you mean? She's my eldest son's wife. She must fulfill her responsibilities. I won't tolerate this.
Stop this foolishness. This situation arose because of your actions. Until you acknowledge that, you won't see me either.
Paul, how could you treat your mother like this?
If you wish to communicate with me, do it via Dad. Goodbye.
Despite Paul's frank conversation and a lecture from her own husband, Barbara remained obstinate. Her vision of her golden years never matched the reality of others around her. After a lengthy disagreement with her spouse, she couldn't bear it any longer. One day, she thrust a set of signed divorce papers in her husband's face, exclaiming, "If you can't see eye to eye with me on this, then we should part ways." My father-in-law was overjoyed. He finalized the documents and submitted them the next day. Barbara only intended to frighten her husband with the threat of divorce, never expecting him to follow through. She was on the verge of a nervous breakdown when she discovered he had indeed filed the papers. But it was too late for her to backpedal. Upon leaving her home, Barbara assumed we would offer her shelter. So, without informing us, she dispatched all her possessions to our house. Paul was livid when the movers arrived unanticipated. Before they could unload anything, he rang his uncle and persuaded him to accept Barbara's belongings. The movers were then directed to deliver everything to the uncle's house instead. When Barbara arrived at our doorstep, acting as if everything was normal, Paul's uncle came and escorted her away. She's now confined to a tiny guest room at her brother's place, living in shame of how her life has turned out.